Did you know, long before vibe coding was a thing, there was vibe trading, where people just traded their tokens just because they felt like it? If that was you, do not worry. Today I'll show you how to build a super simple profit and loss calculator. Using just Python and Streamlit, you'll have the juicy data needed to make a profitable trade. Here's how the app works. You just enter a wallet address, submit, and you'll get the net worth and also the profit and loss data for each of your token in the wallet. Let me guide you through the flow of the app. It could not get any simpler. First, from the wallet address that the user inputs, you simultaneously get all of the tokens in the wallet. From that, you get all of the profit and loss data for each of the tokens, as well as the historical net worth data of the wallet. With the data that you've got, you just have to display it using Streamlit or anything that you want. Although this is a profit and loss calculator, we will not be doing any of the calculations, as it has already been done by Birdeye. We will be getting all of this data from Birdeye data services. So before we do any coding, let's head to Birdeye and get ourselves an API key. Head to Birdeye data services and create an account if you haven't. If you already did, head to your dashboard and go to the security tab. Click on generate key and give it an awesome name like anti-vibe trading. Copy that to the clipboard because we will need that later. With that out of the way, let's actually get to building the app. First things first, we have to put our API key into our project so that we can use it to get the data we want. Since we are using Streamlit, we'll create a secrets file so that Streamlit can read it. Copy your API key here and do not show it to anyone, please. Once you've done that, we can initialize the project and install the dependencies that we need. We'll be using 5 very basic dependency, which is HTTPX to manage the asynchronous API calls, Pedantic to model our data, and lastly, Streamlit, Plotly, and Pandas to display the data that we want. Nice! Now we can actually get to do some coding. First, let's define the functions that will get data from Birdeye data services. First, we could do some importing. Then we need the URL and the headers for our API calls. Now we can define the functions to get the historical net worth data of the wallet. There are some parameters that we need to keep in mind when calling this endpoint. It can get a little bit confusing, but I'll walk you through it. First, very straightforward, is the wallet address that we want to get the net worth data from. Next is the sort type, either descending or ascending, which is referring to the count parameter would determine how much data point you will get from the endpoint. Direction and time always go hand in hand. Time refers to the start time that you want to get data from, and direction determines the period you get the data from, either count days forward or backwards from the start time. Lastly will be the count type, which determines how fine-grained the data you will get, either hourly or daily. In the UI, the users will be able to choose these parameters, and also will include an explanation message so that the users won't be as confused as us. According to the flow, next we'll have to get all of the tokens in the user's wallet, then get the profit and loss data for each of those tokens. For the wallet portfolio endpoint, it's very straightforward. You just need the wallet address and it will return all of the tokens in the address. For P&L, it's also very straightforward. You only need the wallet address as well as the address of all the tokens you want data for. By default, we'll use all the tokens that are currently in the wallet. With the data in hand, now we can actually display it using Streamlit. I'll go very briefly through the UI. Before we build the UI, let's run the Streamlit webpage so that we can see the changes happen as we code. There's no code, so there's nothing on the page yet, but wait till you see the magic. First, let's do some importing as well as initializing the session state for the app. Then we can create the title as well as the input field for the wallet address. As you can see, the magic happened. Wow. Next, let's add a sidebar which contains all the input for the net worth parameters. Here we have the sort type, the count direction, as well as the start date and start time. Here we also included an explanation message so that the users know what they're getting. Let's also add a dictionary so we can map the input fields to the actual parameters that we want. Now let's add a button and the logic to handle what happens if the button is pressed. Get all the data we need, which is all of the tokens from wallet portfolio, net worth and profit and loss data. With the data ready, we can display the net worth data as well as the profit and loss data. That's all of the input we need. Now let's get to displaying the data that we want. To display the net worth data, we'll need to convert the data we got into a data frame and then draw a line chart. Now let's convert that into a data frame with two columns, timestamps and value of the net worth of the wallet at that moment. Now let's draw a line chart with the data frame we just created. Voila! Looks like magic, doesn't it? But why stop there? We can also add some statistics for the wallet net worth in a more readable way. Look at that. A child can read that, I think. With net worth out of the way, let's move on to display the wallet profit and loss. While we do not need any charts for profit and loss, I'll still convert it into a data frame where each row is data for one token, so that it is easier to manage. Now we can show the profit and loss data for the entire wallet across all tokens by just summing all the columns, in this data frame. There you go. And now we can iterate over all the tokens in the wallet and show the profit and loss data for each of them, which is quite similar to the P&L data for the entire wallet. We've also added some visualization so that it is more readable. But that's not all of the data that we have. We also have trade data. Let's add a drop down so users can view this additional data if they want to. There you have it. Now you no longer have to worry about vibe trading and losing probably all of your savings. Additionally, you can use this in unison with or even incorporate this into the Discord bot I built in the last video, so that the entire when to buy or sell flow is automated. I'll leave the link to the GitHub repo in the description. Go check it out. Happy trading!